Namaste. Welcome to Love Wins. I hope you're having a blessed and beautiful reality. And if you're not, may this be the alchemy of now. Let's transcend, transmute, and alchemize that shit. If you're new here, this is the safe space that I created for all things spiritual warfare. If you're returning, hi family, I love you. How has it been out on the spiritual streets? Blessed, protected, doing the work, healing the wounds, breaking the curses, exposing the demons, the lies, the masks, the manipulators, the gaslighters, principalities. Ephesians 6:1-2. We do not fight against flesh and blood, for our enemies are just energy. They are principalities. The dark forces is dark energy, low vibrational reality versus high vibrational reality, ascending or descending, cycling or sovereignty. That is this spiritual warfare. That is what we're dealing with, what we're in, what we came to, what we're waking up from, the matrix we are healing from, the trauma that has been inflicted upon with and without our consent. But at the end of the day, it's all about the kids. And it all started as a kid. We were all wounded as a child. Birth was painful. Earth is painful. Trauma is painful. And then there are two paths. There is the empath and the narcissist. There is the person who has been hurt that chooses to hurt and is always acting in a reactive place from that place of trauma, that child. Emotionally, that person has not aged, grown, expanded past that childhood wound, that age of the wound. So for most people, emotionally, doesn't matter what title they carry, how much education they have, what position they play, what role they are, or their physical, chronological age. Emotionally, there's a lot of toddlers running around here in positions of power. That's scary. That's like a big, giant playground with no supervision. And a whole bunch of it's the Hunger Games, guys. But we start healing, right? Bless you, baby. We start healing. And we reverse that. We free that. We break free from that. We get to be creators of our life. Really. We get to live a life worth living. And it's vibrational. It's all vibrational. So that vibration is under attack. Because if you're in low vibration, then you're in hell reality. And if you're in high vibration, you're in heaven reality. So it's all about the kids. So you heal your wound. You heal baby you, toddler you, teenage you, all of it. Every relationship, you go back, you remember it, you heal it, you forgive it, you release it. Actually let it go. Because if you don't, you keep getting it. You keep getting it over and over and over and over again. And if you're here now, if you're still here with me, you recognize that. You have recognized that you keep getting it over and over and over again. And at some point, you don't want that anymore. Because you know what you're worthy of, because you know what you give. But all of this trauma leads you to believe you're not worthy. It's designed to take you out or have you take yourself out. But while you're in it and you're giving your energy to it, you're working for it. You're feeding. You're feeding what's killing you. Literally, that's this life. But it doesn't have to be. Right? So when it starts to not have to be, your light gets brighter, your vibration raises, everybody who knows you before that ascension, before that shift, before you vibrationally start living in a whole nother reality, they want to keep you in that box. They want to keep you in their vibration because they don't have access to you outside that vibration. And that's when spiritual warfare starts and people become pawns of energy. They are a slave to their energy. They are a slave to the seven, right? Like Prince said, the day all seven will die, the 7 deadly sins. They are just you living in low vibrational energy. But as you clear that stuff, doing the work, the spiritual work, the inner work, the healing work, you ascend out of that stuff, and then you rise past the lower vibrations you come into the heart space, right? And then you can move through the throats and the third eye and the connection. There's people running around in low vibrational energy talking about they're connected to God. They'll go to church, they'll pray on Sunday, they'll ask for forgiveness, and they'll go back to their daily lives and they beat their wives, they abuse their children, they gaslight people in their life, they use people, they manipulate people, they cheat, they lie, they steal all day, every day. God sees all of that. Spirit sees all of that. Nothing is unseen, so you do reap what you sow, and eventually everything does catch up with you. And as it catches up with you, you're now in a hell reality that you created, a prison that you signed the contract to, living the way you were living, following the false god that is controlling you through ego. You realize you're a slave to this and your life is hell, and the only way out is in. So you can stay mad at the people who were going in, those black sheep, scapegoats, awkward, lonely hermit ones, because you guys drove us into hermit mode because we were so sick of all the freaking abuse that we were like, And if you know, you're here, like, you're either cross-watching and you're trying to figure out why, like, what's up with this spiritually weird shit, or you cut everybody off for a long time and you feel more connected to people online. They carry an energetic signature, a soul resonance, a soul cluster. We're here for a reason, right? And like, we all have our own mission. I have my mission, you have your mission. And there are no accidents. Every single thing you've ever lived is for you to remember. Like me, okay, so it's Christmas Eve, la-di-da. I got grandma's heirloom brooch, and I got this in Mount Shasta, and I got this in New Orleans, and this was handmade from me. This is my lapis crescent. It was handmade from a beautiful goddess in Washington State. And so everything I'm wearing has symbolism, right? And when I was a dancer, which is one of my stigmas, one of the things they, you know, used who I was and what I did to put me in a box, to push an agenda of who I was, so I couldn't be who I was becoming and being and living, all for an agenda. And I'm sure this has happened to you as well, and it really freaking sucks, right? Because, like, you really do have integrity. You really have been putting in the work. Like, you're really looking at yourself in the mirror, and I praise you. Okay? Like, because you feel like you're not being seen, but you are, right? Like I said, Most High sees everything. It was an 11:11, guys, by the way, when I said that. And I love you. God loves you. And most importantly, you need to love you. Because when you love you, when you're in that heart space, I am that I am, and you know, how can you not love you, right? But when you love you around a whole bunch of people who don't love themselves or believe it's even possible to love themselves, because all they've ever been told and experienced that love is something that's painful, that's hard, that's like, everyone wants it because it is that light, that source. Like, we all want the source, right? But not everyone has access to it, because not everyone's like willing to go in. That's that dark, scary place. But you have to go in. You have to go in to get out, right? So I had to do all my stuff, you know, with all the healing, and everything is part of me. And when I was a dancer, my stage name was Charisma. Everywhere I went, I was Charisma. If I left and came back years later and there was another Charisma, like, there was hierarchy, and I was Charisma, even if I was only working one night. And you know, Charisma means compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. When I first picked Charisma, there was no spiritual path. I had no idea I was going to help inspire devotion of any kind. I just heard the name in my head and picked it, and I was Charisma. She enchanted guests with her charisma, a divinely conferred power or talent. But charm, presence, aura, personality. I did have charisma. I had standing ovations when I danced. I had people come just to see me dance and then sit down and want to talk to me just to be in my energy. I was writing a book called Therapist in a Thong for a reason, because as a dancer, something clicked, something activated. I didn't know what it was at the time, right? Like, we don't, but when you learn to trust the process, it all starts to make sense. It's a beautiful story. It's your story, and you co-created this story for your soul's ascension. But not just your soul's ascension, it's a double mission, because you're healing a whole bloodline. You're born into all these lies, all these corruption, all of this anger, violence, domestic violence, abuse, suicide, addiction, like drugs, alcohol, like, we all have seen so much, and it's so normalized. but we were born as a seed in these bloodlines, these karmic families. You share DNA with them because you have been born of their blood. Like you have imprinted yourself in their lineage, but your soul may have a few lifetimes with them, or your soul may just came in for this lifetime as like a mission to activate, to heal, to break the curses of Deuteronomy, the curses plagued on that family for whatever reason, however far it goes back. Maybe it's addiction, maybe it's just like narcissism, abuse, lack of self-love, like whatever it is, and it's many in some, and it plagues that family. We all experience it, right? Until someone says no more. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of a happy family. I'm worthy of living a life that I wake up grateful to live, and I go to bed with gratitude in my heart, with joy in my soul. You know, without feeling the anxiety of projections. Because that's all they are, is projections. All of these things that you feel you need to do, they come from external forces that isn't in alignment with natural life, right? So this is how we take our power back, by taking our lives back, healing our traumas, connecting to our soul, right? Forgiving it all. Love yourself, love your life. That's when love wins, right? That's when love wins. And like, yeah, it's a matrix. Even Christmas, like I always talk about how I don't celebrate Christmas, and it's Christmas Eve, and they're all doing it at my sister's house, even my daughter. And she's aware. She's aware of what she's walking into. And I said, do you want to wake up in the morning and have the experience with the tree and the presents? And do you want that Christmas morning? And she said, yes. So I said, go. I'm not stopping you. But she knows there is no Santa. Jesus' birthday is not today. She understands the solstice and how the sun proceeds to stop for 3 days, and then the sun is born. And it's really just a celebration of the cycles used to harness your energy. Like, she understands that Santa's not a real person. And then I learned today that synchronicity between Santa and Satan, same words, same letters, mixed up, the spell, red root chakra, like it all makes sense. It's all to push the agenda. And I always thought there was something weird with sitting on an old man's lap. Have you been a good girl? That's what customers say in a strip club. Have you been a good girl? Come sit on daddy's lap. Tell me what you want. If you're good, I'll get you what you want. Just leave a little snack, something to drink, leave some cookies, pay your gratitude. Give me access. I'll come in from above, because I'm superior, because I'm bringing you what you need, as long as you're good. what is wrong with that picture? And then everybody defends that, right? I've had women attack me and try to get into Facebook war and debates with me. And I refuse to. Like, I see it for what it is. And I, in my head, say what comment I could say that would squash them and make them feel like this big. But I choose not to do it. And I just leave the conversation. But, like, there was a post about what's wrong with letting kids believe in Santa when there's people out here that believe in essential oils. And I said essential oils are made from herbs, they're made from the earth, and they have real medicinal properties, ingested, topical, and just the scent. And Santa is not a real person. It's a made-up person. It's your parents buying the gift and leaving it under the tree. So you lie to your kids for years. You lie to your kids for years. And then you turn around and wonder why they don't trust you. Right? And there's always, like, all of this, like, consumerism that happens where everyone's, like, months before Christmas, they're pushing Christmas and everyone's freaking out about how they're going to be able to afford the things they want to buy for people because we're giving. You want to give. I'm such a giving person. Love me because I gave you what you wanted, right? But it's like, notice no one's ever actually, like, truly, like, got what they wanted, because this never is really what they wanted. What they wanted, it's none of that stuff. It really is none of that stuff. But we're, like, busting our ass to make sure we can get this stuff to put under this tree. And it's like, it's insanity. The amount of stress that people go through. I watch my sister every year freak out for months, and she curses herself with her word witchery every single time she limits what she's able to create when she says, I can't. And I just stare at her like, are we doing this again? I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Yes, I'll have gift exchanges with my children together. And we'll celebrate our lives together. But I can't play Matrix games. It's insane to me, right? But, you know. You know. So, I guess that's the message today. You know, we're here in this world, but not of it, right? Stop. Breathe. Seriously, just breathe. Put your hand on your heart and ask yourself, how's your heart? Seriously, how's your heart? And then wait for your heart to answer you. That's your homework. Your Earth School homework. I'm giving you, the High Priestess of Love. Do your homework. How's your heart? Connect with yourself. See what comes up. And if it comes up and it hurts, give it a hug. Right? Give it a hug. Because this is the hug you're missing. This is what you're looking for. If you can't hug yourself and feel love, you're never going to find it out there. Because Because if you don't want to hug you, why do you want me to hug you? Right? No one wants a cold hug. What's up, baby? Mischief says, I want a hug, right? I want a hug. He has princess energy, all of it. I love this kitty. His name's Mischief, and he totally fits his name. Wild. Wild little kitty, right? I hope you're having a blessed and beautiful reality. This is Love Wins. I don't know. If you need to reach out to me, if you have any questions, you can send me an email. My email is on my homepage, and if you do feel like donating, I would be so grateful. That was one of those things that was under attack, especially when I started my channel, because of being a dancer. Like, oh, she's just trying to get money from people. And it's like, no, actually, I've experienced people giving me money, and I've lived giving people money. It feels good to give people that you feel deserve it, right? And it's healing to learn to receive, right? It was hard for me at first to receive, and I had to learn my worth, right? And learning your worth is part of the healing process, because the basic needs is not something we should have to ask for. That's part of the trauma. That's what the system has done to us. People are out here lying and stealing and cheating to get their basic needs met. I've seen it. I've lived it. I've watched it. I've prayed for it. I've prayed for the healing for it to stop, for people to wake up and see they don't have to do that. I got my ass beat trying to show people they don't have to do that, right? But the system has beaten them down so far they feel like they have to. But they don't. You don't. And when you stop, that's the dominoes, right? We forge the path that many can follow. But if nobody does it, path never gets forged. So you take the narrow path. You stay faithful to a life you've never lived and a love you've never experienced. You stay loyal to what you know. And I know. And love wins. And I love you.